continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Ever since Rodney Harrington's young brother Norman married Rita Jacks more than 2 years ago, Rodney has known how much a family meant to them. He has lived with their desires for a baby. Now, Rita has had a miscarriage. Tonight, Rodney is concerned not about Rita, who is in doctor's hospital under the care of Dr. Michael Rossi, but about his brother, Norman. Rodney knows that Norman has left the hospital to face an empty apartment. He knows further that for Norman, a home without Rita, even for a matter of days, is the depth of loneliness.
Norm? Would you like to go for a walk?
No. Did you ever study the stars?
Listen, Norman, I know how you feel. Well, maybe something good will come out of this.
Oh, thanks, Coach.
I mean it. Rita's well now. She'll never have that trouble with her heart again.
That's right. And she'll never have any children either.
What do you mean? Dr. Rossi's...
I know what Dr. Rossi said. He said she could. She said she wouldn't. Here. If you know anybody that digs stargazing or mapping out their future, you can lay that on them. Got some other stuff you can lay on them, too.
Baby. Look, Norm, she couldn't have meant that.
She said it.
Yeah, well, she's tired. She's been through the ringer.
I never told you about the dream she used to have when we first got married. She'd sit up in bed with her eyes wide open. She'd be shaking all over. Kind of like she was hurting inside. I'd hold on to her and talk to her like she was a little kid, trying to get her to snap out of it.
Well, what was it?
Joe Chernick, the warehouse, and everything rotten that's happened to her. And the big dip of a father that left her up on the wharf to grow up alone.
Yeah, until she married you.
Wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. She told me. Everything changed in her life when she found out that she meant something to you.
She was just trying to tell herself, trying to make herself believe it. And the baby, that was going to be the proof. Proof that she was worth. She ever believed that she could marry such a big slob like me?
You know, come to think of it, you are a bit of a slob. Why don't we just tidy this place up a bit, huh? And as for what Rita said, she's not herself right now, and you can't expect her to be.
And she's my wife. I don't know what she said.
So, Norm, you've used your head so far.
That all goes.
Where?
Oh, I don't know. This goes back to the Carsons.
I'll give you a hand.
Later.
Okay, then. I'll be back.
Hey, Rod. I'm scared. What if she never gets over this? What if it can never really be the same again?
Rita, listen to me. I think I've seen a lot of women go through what you're experiencing right now. Sure, you're gonna feel depressed for a while, and you're gonna have those bust into tears without any feeling, without any warning, and you're gonna be cross all the time. But it's not an uncommon reaction for a woman during her postnatal period. Hey, have you heard anything I said? Rita, you could have experienced the same thing, even if you'd had the baby.
We'll never know, will we?
Well, I know you're not going to give in to it. And I know that before long, you and Norman can get together and plan your whole future again.
Do you really believe that?
It's a fact.
It's a fake. Nobody can plan their lives.
Well, can't plan every minute of it, no.
Not 10 seconds. Some people's lives are just messed up from the start.
Now, that's self-pity talking. You're not going to listen to that.
It's the truth. There's something out there somewhere. Some star or something that's got it all worked out from the beginning. And all the planning in the world can't change what you are. Or what you're supposed to be.
Sweetheart, everything's going to be all right. You'll see.
Jill. Jill. It's all right, Dad. Jill, Stephen Cord told my wife that you claim that you have Allison's baby. Did you say that?
Yes.
You can't be serious, child.
Oh, no, she's serious enough about it, Dad. Otherwise, Stephen wouldn't have told Constance and got her so upset about it.
Jill, why don't you just tell us what you told Mr. Cord?
All right.
Why didn't you come to us right away?
Elliot,
And listen,
please.
Dad, if it's too much trouble, you know, we can go someplace else and talk.
I'm sorry.
I asked you a question.
Because when I came to town, the baby was sick, and after she got better, I thought I'd better see what kind of people you were before I left her on your doorstep. Well, Allison told me you'd take good care of her, but...
Allison told you? What was she wearing when you saw her?
I don't know. Wrinkled clothes. Everybody on a cross-country bus has wrinkled clothes. Well, I really didn't pay much attention to what she had on.
What was the baby's name?
Kelly. I named the baby Kelly.
Allison would have named her own baby. What did she name her?
I asked Allison what she called her, but she said she hadn't decided. I didn't believe her, but, well, I didn't bug her about it.
How did you get Allison's baby?
Connie, please, stop calling her Allison's baby. Darling, please, don't start thinking of her as Allison's.
I guess I don't blame you, Mr. Carson. It's really a shock for someone to knock on your door and say, here's the baby you never knew your daughter had.
Jill, Allison would never have given up her baby. Not to you, not to anyone.
Where did you get the baby?
Allison left her with me.
Allison left with you. Now, listen to me, young lady. I want you to tell me right now where you got that baby. And when you got that baby. I want you to tell me the date and the time. Everything. Exactly. You understand me?
She will if you'll stop threatening her.
I got on a cross-country bus one night. Everybody was asleep.
Bound for where?
California. After a while, I fell asleep too, but a baby started to cry and I woke up. The mother tried and tried to calm the baby, but nothing worked. The baby kept on crying. Some of the passengers started making wisecracks about the baby.
What about you, Jill? What did you do?
Just a minute, please. Well, the mother got more and more desperate because the baby kept on screaming and nothing worked, so I held out my hands to the baby and asked the mother if I could try. I took her in my arms and walked up and down the aisle with her and talked to her, and well, pretty soon she was asleep in my arms. Everybody thanked me, but, well, I didn't think I'd done anything so special. Well, when I was sure that baby was asleep, I gave it back to the mother, and it's then that I saw that she was just a young girl. Like me. Your daughter. And the next day we got to know each other.
What did she tell you?
Well, she told me about you and about this place.
What did she say about us?
Well, she said you were good people, and even though you were older, and that you'd be good people to raise a baby.
Ah. Oh, I'm sorry. I just simply can't stand here and let her go on like that. If you expect us to believe that that baby you have there is Allison's, and you expect us to take that baby off your hands, then, young lady, you better face a very important fact. And that fact is that I don't believe you. I don't believe one single word of it. And if I'm ever expected to change my mind, you're going to have to answer a few questions.
I'll try.
When was the last time you saw Allison?
About 4 months ago, when she left the baby with me.
And how long had she known you before she gave you her baby?
2 nights and 1 day.
And where did this exchange of the baby take place?
At night in a town. In a bus stop restaurant.
What was it called? I mean, what was the town called? What was the day? What was the date? The name of the month? The highway?
Elliot.
I'm sorry, Dad. I just can't let this girl make us crawl up the walls because of some fairy tale. If it happened. If it happened. And, Connie, if it happened, these things can be proved because there's a bus driver, there are passengers, there are tickets, there's itinerary, there are highways, there are names of towns. So these things can be proved if she comes up with the right answers. But so far, she hasn't given me one shred of information that I can verify. Not one shred of information. And I don't think that's an accident.
Well, she knew I had this thing about babies. I knew she didn't. We didn't talk about it. We just understood each other, that's all.
Jill, my granddaughter would never have given her baby to a stranger. Now, mind you, you're a nice girl. You seem honest and trustworthy and all that.
Look, Mr. Carson, I respect you and everything, but if you believe that, then you didn't really know Allison.
Oh, Connie, come on. Let's go.
I want to hear the rest of it.
Please.
Jill, please.
Well, we were in the restaurant, and she told me she'd been thinking about her baby. She said she decided to bring it home and ask you to care for it. And she asked me to hold the baby while she telephoned you to tell you she was coming home. I waited and waited. The bus left without us. She never came back.
Do you really expect us to believe that?
What did you do then?
Well, I waited in the restaurant, but I knew she'd never come back.
Why didn't you go to the police?
Because I didn't have any money. Just enough to get me to California, but
If you'd have gone to the police and left the baby with them, you would have been as free as a bird.
I left my home and my parents, just like Allison, so I could be free as a bird. And if I went to the police with somebody else's baby, I'd have to identify myself, and well, that way my parents would find me. Because they're looking for me, just like you're looking for Allison. And if I give you names of bus stop restaurants and towns, and you start investigating so you can find your daughter, well, it won't be long before my parents find me.
If only you could give me something I could go on. Some kind of proof.
Do you know how difficult this is for me? You want proof? You give me proof that you want her. You give me proof that you love her, or I won't give her to you. You're not going to love her as much as I do. I'm not going to give her up to you.